Preparing to live stream. This meeting is being live streamed. Okay, welcome into the Chit Chat Money Investing Power Hour. On the show, we come with nothing prepared. We're basically riffing on financial markets. Anything and everything is fair game. Earnings season is coming to an end. I should also mention that if you guys have any questions or you want to listen to these things live for anyone that's on the podcast, we do these live on YouTube at 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and you can definitely get your questions in. We always appreciate it. News that I think needs to be talked about. Neumann's back.
That's what you want to hit first. Yeah, there was quite a bit. Markets have been boring, but there's quite a bit of news out there this week. We can probably discuss that Bed Bath and Beyond thing, although that's a developing situation. But yeah, Neumann, what were your thoughts?
It's actually I think it's completely insane.
All
Like, I
right.
know that's kind of like not everyone thought the same thing, but this man might be the best salesman alive.
What?
He has no business. It's just an idea. And everyone knows what can happen when he gets going and how a business can deteriorate, and how much he can spend. Yet he had no problem selling it to what are widely regarded as some of the better investors in the world, or people that have had success with investments in the past. And they wrote him a giant check. I think he might be the best salesman of our generation. To do it once, he was already a great salesman. To do it twice, it's hard to beat. I can't think of someone that's better.
Gosh, yeah, $350 million. That blog post was interesting. The Andreessen Horowitz one where they discussed why they're investing in Flow. Hey, look, I hope it does what they think it's gonna do, or they want it to do, if you get what I mean, where it lowers housing costs, because we know that's a big issue, and there's no, the less people need to spend on shelter, the better, all else equal. But I just kind of doubt that's gonna happen by inserting a middleman that wants a bunch of the profits.
I think the other funny part was the fact that Mark Andreessen, and I believe his spouse, wouldn't let people develop in their neighborhood.
Yeah, well, not let, they wrote a letter, right, for the,
To whoever
it was had a lot of all capitals, words in all capitals. It was, and I'll
he's
say
NIMBY.
he is,
I
yeah,
didn't realize that.
well, I think everyone is not in my backyard person once they get into that backyard. I would be like that. Come on. If I had a really nice place and someone wanted to build a giant apartment building next to it, I wouldn't like that. I want my privacy. But I get,
Yeah, but then I want to turn around and act like
you're saving the world by
like
inventing it.
saving grace because I wrote Adam Neumann a check to build apartments.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Would you
yeah.
live in these things?
Well, I was discussing with you the basically the play of they're gonna subsidize the, I don't know, but Jesus out of these. So it might be time for us to move to Nashville, but then we were discussing again how it may not be a
Are we
place I would like to
forced
live.
mingling?
Yeah, with all of the things they talk about, it sounds like everything I would not want in an apartment. I don't want
Aren't
to
they
talk
already
to.
trying to do this? The We Live.
This is definitely a springboard off of We Live. Yep, with probably just more rationalized without the wife in whatever her name was, Rebecca Neumann, doing it.
This is the
Uh
insert Jerry Seinfeld yelling at Newman. Should we if we could get Brady to go in and throw that soundbite in there. I don't think
that's
we'd have
right.
the rights, but
The yeah, the uh, look, $350 million, they're probably gonna get more. These places are gonna get subsidized for a bit, and you can probably get some cheap rent, but I don't know how many times I would like to have my neighbor pitch in their crypto thing to me in the lobby. during the forced meeting time. So that might might keep me away.
What I think his Web3 thing ended, right? That's gone.
No, that's Flow. Flow is a part of it. It's like Flow is also the Web3 thing. So I think there could be a crypto angle here, which would just be a nice little cherry on top. I think the Flow carbon could be the coin they're using, but who knows? There's no information, so we're all just speculating.
I wonder if he's just propagating or perpetuating the Web3 buzz so that he could get Andreessen's check.
Yeah. Just what a poor use of resources, huh? Like this could go to like
Bummer.
it could go to like real, yeah. Like the $350 million is a lot of money.
You know what I've thought about more than I care to admit is that picture of him walking around New York City without shoes on.
Yeah, New York, that's the
That's
well, at least
that's
in the United States.
I'm just wondering what kind of a night he had. It was like 6
Yeah.
a.m. or something like that.
I think that was when WeWork was collapsing, so it was definitely. If you watch the show We Crashed, I think they got that pretty darn well.
How how much you want to bet Masa's son ends up backing this in some way?
Oh, I would bet money that he wouldn't. He's not going to. They really that SoftBank's suing them. So or was. I don't know what happened with it, but
It's the greatest
uh,
salesman of all time that we're talking
look,
about here.
yeah, well, maybe I guess we shouldn't doubt Adam Newman's ability to raise money, but SoftBank and Masa-san don't seem to be on good terms with Newman from what, you know, reading through the tea leaves.
All right. Anything else entertaining, non-Newman related?
Yeah, Newman. Well, that's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna be fun to follow that this year.
No doubt.
Let's see. There was the not Best Buy, Bed Bath and Beyond, similar tickers. Where we seem to be going through a pump and dump there. And did you see the story of the reportedly? Now this is developing at this time, so new information could be coming out while everyone's listening to this. The 20-year-old USC student who invested in it on behalf of other people. I think it was like a fund that was set up. Seems a
Yeah.
bit sketch,
I don't
but
know.
also,
Honestly,
I
props
mean,
to the kid.
well, very ballsy. Yeah, I mean, he got the money from other people.
We don't know how much, we don't know what percentage that was of the fund, do we? Of his
I
fund. So it's hard to say.
no,
But
yeah, hard to say, but I think a lot of it.
I mean, he wrote a decent letter to Bed Bath and Beyond when I think they owned like 6%.
Dude, no way a 20-year-old wrote that. I'm sorry. If they did, this guy's in that. If he wrote that letter, that like nice, that good of a letter, he, it, this is this guy's insanely smart because if you're 20 years old and you can write that letter, like I think there's got to be other people, you know, working with the team there.
Potentially.
But it's
But
good
it is
marketing.
him.
It's good marketing to have a 20-year-old be kind of the face. You know what I mean?
Who's this guy's dad? Honestly, I mean, what got 25 million in college to start up his little fund?
Well, USC, not not too surprising. It's a lot of money though.
That's crazy.
Um, he did
Yeah,
look
that
like a
is kind of a cool
young,
story. Quite the pump and dump. I mean, not on his
not
part, it
him, not
wasn't
him.
like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Although I guess I read somewhere that he was kind of responsible for creating the catalyst. Like,
yeah. Well, there could be new information that comes up, but it, it's strange times. The
you think anything happens here regulatory wise? Is there anything to do here from for the SEC?
well, look, I'm no expert in the securities law stuff, but it seems like the Ryan Cohen guy, who is associated with this company now, is associated with GameStop, founder of Chewy. Um, he was, I believe, bought a stake and he just sold some. Don't quote me on this. Let me confirm. Ryan Cohen, Bed Beyond.
No, I did say that he sold, but
Yeah,
what's
he
illegal about that?
reveals his well, apparently it was too early and like there was some I don't know. this just stuff floating around Twitter, but we'll see what actually happens. But apparently it violated some rule, like what form 144 rule or something like that, where
Well, we know
he,
someone else who's done that. That
yeah, I guess maybe these
happened
laws don't apply
to
if you're
anyone.
rich, if you're rich or they don't care anymore. But I guess the SEC acts slow, so we'll see. They're not going to be doing this tomorrow. They're not going to be knocking down his door. But I don't know, that meme stock stuff. Cohen, it just doesn't feel like you got to have some morals at some point, man.
This isn't luck that it just doesn't seem like luck that he's involved in every meme stock craze.
Yeah.
Finds a way to sell at the top.
Well, no,
How come
yeah.
none of my stocks get memed?
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice. It's
Like
also
I,
stressful.
I think Bill Brewster said this like last week, but he's like, I used to think that I had too much integrity to make money that way, but I'll take what I can get now. I think if someone wants to meme any of my stocks, I've got a great. I'd be more than willing to accept that, and I'll take the returns that way. I don't
Yeah,
need true intrinsic value appreciation. I mean, I think it was a Druck that said the only thing that matters is whether or not the stock is which direction the stock's going.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna start a pump and dump scheme, but sure, if a stock goes up, I'll sell. Like just don't. Uh,
I
right?
won't even know how.
If a stock goes up 10 times, yeah,
I think I tried to get into Wall Street bets once just to see what it was like, and they didn't admit me. So I think I'd have a hard time being a
oh
part of
wow.
it. So I think we were trying to promote that. I was trying to promote the interview with the guy that started Wall Street bets, whatever. I can't blanking on his name that we did.
I know we were early on Wall Street bets.
We
Not to
were.
brag, not to brag.
Why did he come on too initially? Well, there was something that it was like something small that Wall Street bets got noticed for.
We were talking about the infinite money printer thing on Robinhood where you could sell, there was no limit to the amount of call options or put options you could sell. Remember that stuff?
Oh, oh, right.
I believe it was that, but that was like 2 years ago. So yeah, that was
That was before.
before the big blow up and all the drama that came with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, here's a topic that I want to talk about because people seemed really interested and had a bunch of different takes on it when I tweeted it out. What are your thoughts on WhatsApp payments and why Facebook/Meta is not investing more into it?
Well, I don't keep up with Meta enough, and I don't use WhatsApp. Do you use WhatsApp?
Yeah, I mean, for people that basically older family group chats.
You don't
And
just do it. What's your alternative on Android? Just like a basic messenger app?
Google Messages. There's tons. Google Messages is fine. It's the exact same as iMessage, but
Just shows up green.
on yours, yeah. Well, it can show up as any color I want. It's customizable. It can look the exact same as iMessage if I wanted to.
When you try to add a reaction, it describes the reaction in text.
Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore. Actually, that
They
actually
fixed it?
changed. They changed that. Yeah. But either way, back
Uh,
to the topic. WhatsApp payments potential there. I think there's a ton of potential given that there's 2 billion users around the globe that use it constantly.
so what do you mean? What does WhatsApp payments consist of right now?
Well,
People
they're trying to
sending you
do
money?
peer to peer in different markets. I think they're trying to invest heavily in Brazil and India, although again, it's very international, so it's hard to track all the exact details. But my thinking is you try to build, you already have 2 billion users. In a lot of countries, it's replaced. It's basically the core messaging distribution platform and has replaced email. So it's really, all forms of communication are going through WhatsApp. Um, basically would think of tried to do a copy of Venmo in all these different markets, and essentially a combination of Venmo plus a remittance company or a remittance service would be super powerful.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're already trying to do that.
Yeah, but my
They're just
thinking
not
is they
pushing
need
it, or
to,
what?
yeah, why not invest 10 times as many dollars and 10 times as many people into this? Because the opportunity is just massive.
Because those resources need to go towards the metaverse.
And the I mean, look, here's what kind of was thinking of on that is they invested so much into that crypto thing. Remember when that was the whole thing?
Yeah, what was it called
Forget what it
again?
was called, Libra, and then it was called DIEM. They're
Oh,
partnering
right,
with
right.
Remitly on something, and now they canceled it, I believe, or it's spun off or something like that. Is I don't know. Are there like if they think about how much value they could, but it's all speculative, it's all potential value. But think about how much value they could have if for the last 5 years they were investing to basically be a really robust remittance service through WhatsApp, which takes a lot of years to build up. Plus, you have P2P, peer-to-peer stuff, um, for domestic transfers in all the different countries. I honestly think they could be doing hundreds of billions of payment volume if they invested enough into it. But I guess they're not for whatever reason.
I wonder if Apple would have provided compatibility across to iMessage.
Well, look, you're thinking US. I mean, US is obviously not the market to go after here because
Yeah.
WhatsApp's basically it'd be really tough for them to like a lot of people that had concerns. They're like, do you really think they can dethrone Venmo? And I was like, probably not in the US. Just because WhatsApp's not nearly as popular here, but in almost all of their markets, I think there's a really, really good shot. India, WhatsApp is insanely popular and they just haven't executed apparently from some of the anecdotes I was reading. There's a lot of other payment companies that have done better. And I just think, why not invest a ton of money into that? I think it's better than the metaverse. Did you see that funny video or picture of Zuck in his
Yes.
metaverse thing
Paris
that looked like it was a 90s video game? I mean, where
in
what
front
are
of the
these?
Eiffel Tower without legs. Yeah.
Yeah, what is this? What,
Might go down as one of the dumbest bets of all time
all
from a
right, well,
comic.
let's call the let's yeah, fade ourselves and say maybe the investments are gonna I mean, $10 billion a year is a ton. Like obviously Oculus has some sweet technology, but it'd just be interesting to see when they come out with these new products, like if any of them actually are revolutionary. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just not seeing it yet. The thing is, okay, if they are revolutionary, you don't have to own it before that.
That's a
You
good
don't
point.
have to own it before that it proves to be revolutionary technology and they get this mass adoption. Like once it's proven, once they start to see adoption, like you've seen it with the iPhone, there's still good returns to be had.
Yeah.
You didn't have to own Apple. What was it? 09? Was that when the iPhone?
So '07. But App Store wasn't really materialized until a few years after. You wouldn't have, because when it first came out, it was basically just access to the internet. I don't think they had the App Store at first. So all that lock in, all that kind of thesis around there, you probably would have been able to formulate in '09, '10, probably. Um, Still speculative at that point, but you could have seen the potential, maybe.
What do you think Meta's returns are over the last 5 years?
Flat, pretty
Total
flat.
return. Pretty
Yeah,
damn
but
close.
is it flat?
Pretty damn close. It's up 5%. Isn't that crazy? Think about how much operating income has grown for them.
Yeah, I know. It
I guess this is why management matters. Not to say anything bad about Zuck. I've warmed up to Zuck, but where you end up allocating that capital is obviously a huge part of the equation. And he's taking a pretty big bet on something that's fairly speculative. Although I feel like whenever we talk about Meta, we just go round and round in the same conversation. We don't know what this is going to be, but they're obviously betting a ton of money on it.
What was their price to free cash flow? And I'll look it up in 2017.
What would you pay for the core family of apps? WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. Am I missing anything else?
No clue, which is why I'm not investing.
Let's assume 30% operating margins. I forget if it's around there right now. 30% operating margins. I think users grew like 1%. DAU.
Core family is, their operating margins are way higher.
All right, let's go 50%.
No, I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Come on,
there's too much. I was actually someone chirped me on Twitter and said I need to be more like I need to have it, but I can't say I don't know to all the questions when I don't know. And I was like, all right, man, these sometimes are the things that
give some sort of a take. You've got, if I give you Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp combined, let's say they're doing, I'm going to get the numbers totally wrong. I don't know. $30 billion in operating income on, I don't know, what is it? $60 billion in revenue annually.
It's higher. It's yeah, you're way off on that, but I think it's operating income's closer to 50 billion, but
am I? All right. Let's say I gave that to you for $300 billion. You could buy that business.
For core family apps?
Exist. Yeah, the VR reality labs that just doesn't exist.
Let me look at what they did, and I gotta confirm what they did. I gotta confirm their operating income in 2020 from family apps, just from in 2021. Excuse me. Let me just look up that number so I'm not totally off here.
Last 12-month EBITDA.
Yeah, but that includes all their losses though.
Okay.
On family of apps.
All right, revenue was like 100.
2021 operating income from family of apps was 57 billion. Yeah, I would pay for just family of apps. Yeah, easy 300 billion.
All right. 600.
But that's not what you're paying for.
I'm giving you a theoretical.
I know, but it's not like if it's only these.
Oh, but no,
it's just not.
Let's say tomorrow Zuckerberg says we're closing these initiatives.
Yeah, but
you got chirped for saying I don't know, so you just got to play along with the theoretical.
Yeah, but the management still matters, and their capital allocation strategy just seems risky to me. So, do I trust because they're also talking about 5 years ago or whatever investing a ton in Libra, which just seemed risky at the time. So, yeah, I also worry about their timing on buybacks.
What's her name's gone too?
Sandberg? Yeah, I don't really.
Didn't she have she expensed her wedding or something like that?
Yeah, that's fine. She created so much shareholder value. Like she's the one that, got it all going from a monetization perspective. So
I wonder if she just wasn't on board with the metaverse and that was she's got to go.
Matt says we have to channel our inner Stephen A. Smith. I think maybe 10% of that. Look, yeah, family of apps. I would pay 300 billion for that for sure. For sure. In that hypothetical.
Are you worried at all about, let's say WhatsApp didn't exist, the Facebook and Instagram businesses? Is there any concern around durability?
Just in the richer markets for Facebook, Instagram. No, I'm not concerned.
Okay.
I was more actually slightly concerned. I was more concerned probably a year ago. Then I got a little bit more religion on Instagram's. Well, gosh, I don't know. They seem to be taking a big risk of trying to embrace short form video. So that could be a misstep. So I guess there is some uncertainty there, but
if you could spin out one business, not only a Facebook, but like a segment of any big tech company, let's go fan mag. You get to spin out a segment. What is it?
At any price, or assuming what, like the same earnings
Assume, let's
ratio?
assume they trade at 20 times their earnings, all the businesses.
Well, WhatsApp, because then you could actually run it with you could, there's so
Monetize
much potential
properly.
there. There's so much potential there, and the moat of the user moat is phenomenal.
You'd pick that over
Absolutely
one of the
phenomenal.
cloud providers or over YouTube.
Yeah, just because like the earnings ratio would be, if it's at 20 times
Yeah.
earnings, that's kind of a loophole there, but you know what I mean. Obviously, the cloud providers would be the safest bet. I mean, well, of the cloud providers, AWS would be the safest bet just because they're the ones that have proved they can generate tons of operating income.
What's the most profitable business you've ever seen?
Google. Oh, well, what do you mean profitable?
Like
Like
full, I mean, the
margins?
entire, yeah, highest, whatever
Oh,
you
it's
want
it's
to, EBIT
it,
margins, operating margins. I'm not
it's
talking about like a sub segment of a business. I'm talking about consolidated financials.
oh, it was either Evolution Gaming or Visa or Moody's. No, I don't know if Moody's is that high, but I think it's Visa, right? I think it'd be Visa.
Adyen.
Adyen was high when we looked at them.
Yeah, didn't someone say like MasterCard or Visa could be run with like 50 employees?
Yeah, there was a business breakdowns on that. I don't think that's a hot take, right? We all know what it is.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that because I don't know, I heard some anecdotes around, shall we say, corporate bloat in some of the big tech companies around the Seattle area. And it just made me think, if you just cut expenses, like, do they need to send all their employees to baseball games? Do they need to put them in hotels for the first week that they join the company? Probably not.
Well, I will take it a step further. Do they need all these employees in general? No. Almost this might be a hot take, but almost all employees are a waste. No, not almost all, but
That's terrible.
a good chunk of employees are waste. Hey, so are we. At the company we work at, they're a waste at some point. There's extreme inefficiencies in corporate America, and maybe that's fine. There's a bug. Sorry, if anyone's watching, there's a fly, which might look weird, but there's extreme. I mean, you just told me that anecdote of putting up people like whatever 100 people in a hotel, all their own room,
Hey, they all
whatever.
do something during the day.
Yeah, yeah, they do something.
What are you gonna have? 50% unemployment?
No,
You gotta
just
have people with, you gotta give people purpose.
I
It's
know.
it's the responsibility of companies that could earn 60%,
to hire
70% EBIT margins to cut those in half for the good of America.
to hire people for wasteful for pointless jobs. Look, it's the
Yeah.
system. I mean, there's too many MBAs or whatever you want to describe it. There's too many people that have the skill set that is not actually necessary. But man, would it be better if there was the ability to do more purposeful work? But in general, as an from
Like
investment.
this, like this power hour that we're doing right now,
Oh,
providing
I'm not
value
saying
to society.
I am not saying we're I'm not saying I'll yeah. I'm not saying we're
Fun.
like
Yeah.
providing tons of value. It's just part of the game. But it is like yeah, without getting too deep, it is part of you just gotta realize that. Like if you're a cog at a big company, you gotta realize, man, I could get kicked out of here. Nothing will affect this business. Like, I don't know. That would give me a little, make me nervous if I was working there.
What, a looming recession could just eliminate your job.
Not even a looming recession, just basically at any time, like, okay, how much value am I actually providing this company? If I'm not providing any value to this company, then they can fire me at any time. I would just be really nervous about that.
Yeah. It's fair. All right. My favorite segment, stocks on your radar. Found anything interesting?
I was looking at Callaway again this week. Just been doing some research on them. I don't
Went to
think that.
Top Golf.
What'd you think?
There was a check. That's for sure. You're welcome. Next quarter, Callaway shareholders.
Yeah, talk about a waste of money. Is Top Golf, but people
I was
love
with a
it.
group of like 8 people. Now, granted, we bought some drinks and some food. We were there for 2 hours. 8 people, I think it was like $50 a person.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't be
Well,
listening, you New Yorker investor people. It's a lot of money out here.
if you were
A lot of money, not in New York City.
if you had to do an emotional hedge portfolio, so companies that you're like you don't want to see their stocks rise, but if you owned them, at least it would like offset your emotional response. So,
Emotional. What do you mean?
all
You
right,
mean like
let's say
spending? Like
if Apple
spending?
continues to do really well, it's going to frustrate me from like like
You're locked into the ecosystem. You understand the mo.
yeah, and if they're gouging developers, let's say, or they just did that app tracking technology feature, what was that, a year ago, and they heard a bunch of other advertisers, but then they used it to boost their own advertising. It would frustrate me to see them do well, but if I owned it, it would offset that frustration because I'd be doing well. If you had to have an emotional hedge portfolio, that's what I'm calling the emotional hedge. What
Um,
companies would be in that basket? I think it's fair to say probably Tesla's in that.
Tesla. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, for sure, for sure. Tesla's in that for me. Don't like
Peloton
the
in that.
no. I mean, emotional hedge. Do you
Care
mean
less
like,
on Peloton.
yeah, they're in a tough spot. Emotional hedge is tough.
Like,
I would
let's say
think
the
more
stock,
like
it would be one where the stock goes up, you're frustrated, but you make money.
I'm frustrated with I'm not sure I understand the question. Am I frustrated with the company or
You're
am I
frustrated that the stock continues to rise.
Oh,
I think Bed Bath
well,
and Beyond, GameStop, AMC.
AMC, yeah, for sure. Um, Bitcoin,
This might
big,
as well just be called the Schadenfreude portfolio.
yeah, the Bitcoin for sure.
Okay.
100%. Any crypto thing. Come on. That is pure Schadenfreude.
Preying on their downfall, huh?
Well, this is what it would, right? This is what it would be.
Yeah, no, you're getting it right. Any other
I
stocks in there? Okay, I tend to
oh no, Microsoft and Amazon because of Seattle housing for
uh,
sure. That right? Because
yeah.
of if they if Microsoft and Amazon's stock price goes whatever, or if they're okay, they say stock price like doubles or triples again within the next few years, watch out. We could be screwed. Better
Yeah.
lock it and
Maybe
better
we will take up Adam Newman's new apartments.
we'll be forced to move to his wherever those are, which is perfect that it was like Miami, Nashville, and Austin. It was just beautiful that those were the three cities he was choosing.
Yeah. It's hard to put like stock. It's a lot easier to put like cryptocurrencies in there because they're not actually like creating tangible benefits to society. So it's
What
like
do you mean? What do you mean? Come on. What do you mean?
I think it's
Just
wasting
I'm
I
kidding.
think it's wasting resources.
Oh yeah.
But like most stocks, unless it's like a shell company, are representative of an underlying business that's hopefully not detracting from society, hopefully benefiting the world by creating something real. So typically, I wouldn't be like resentful if their stocks rose.
Yeah. Unless management is immoral because that's just never good for society. Like AMC's management is just being super immoral with the tricks they're
Inspires
pulling.
copycats.
Inspires copycats. Yeah, I think Musk could be in that category for me of inspiring the copycats. Although I was thinking like if I ever met Musk, I talk like I really dislike him. I think he's terrible for society. But if I ever met him, I was thinking like, yeah, he'd probably have me eaten out of the palm of his hand. Just like, talking whatever
Yeah,
engine,
yeah.
trying to hype up any sort of engineering thing I did, even though I think he's, a fraud, but it's how it goes. He's a pretty compelling guy.
I found the Manchester United tweet fairly interesting. I bet he didn't know that was publicly traded.
Gosh,
Most people
pick
don't.
I know, but pick one team. That's just bad luck on his part.
I think
Picking
there
the
are
one
some other teams that you could buy. What if he said I'm buying the Atlanta Braves?
I know, but that's still pretty unlucky if that was the one team.
Well,
There's so many sports teams out there.
it's like the most followed and they just lost like 4-0. It's everyone seems to be. They are ripe for a new I think potentially ripe for a new ownership group. So
Still unlucky.
it wasn't just happenstance, but it was unlucky that they just so happened to be publicly traded.
Also happenstance that someone bought a bunch of call options right
Okay, but
before
there was
that.
also I saw that, but there was rumors of new ownership stepping in that day when all the call options were bought. So it was
Okay.
prior to
So the
Musk.
rumors. All right. So they're real rumors. Okay.
There was like someone was thinking about buying, and I believe that's when the call options were purchased.
Hmm. Still sketchy, I
The
think.
thing is, like, that stock is so hard to Matt H says he didn't see the options trading volume the few days before on Man U. Yeah, no, I'm saying there was I think we may have a time lapse on the comments there, but I believe that day that the options volume, whatever, like 10x, this was before Musk tweeted his thing. On that same day, there was rumors of a different person potentially buying the club, which may have spurred the options volume increase. Also,
Right.
I used to have that stock on my little watch list when I was like young, just to like, oh, they won. Let's see if anything happens. There's like no correlation between performance and stock price there.
Sports teams are yeah, they're not great. Like
I can't imagine they're very profitable investments typically, unless you find a reseller
maybe we should do a not so deep dive
or
on.
someone to buy it from you.
Yeah, it's not. They're strange assets for sure.
I would
Because
hate to do the deep dive on Manchester United because I don't know what actually drives
well, that's why we should
returns.
do it. That's why we should do it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out where they make money or don't make money. I mean, from what all I've read, it seems like they're not actually that great at businesses and they don't make that much money, but you just got to find a rich owner. So maybe income inequality that can help, but who knows?
Yeah.
Because they talk about the value of the franchises, and I always find that suspect where they're like, we estimated the value of the Dallas Cowboys. And it's like, would you run would you run a DCF on this?
What what's his name? Jerry Smith,
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. What his grandson ran a DCF.
Yeah. I don't understand why they do there. It's like the brand value stuff when they're like, when they do those reports, Amazon's brand value is blank. And it's like, fantastic. Thank you.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Thank you for doing that really important work. Or the ones that are like studies find that no, they're like studies find that black people have harder time getting houses in rich neighborhoods than white people, and it's like, thank you for that really powerful insight. I did not know that that was occurring.
Yeah, the study had to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm starting to be a study hater and a survey hater.
Yeah, join the club.
I'm actually kind of, I would say going anti the survey's results are more likely to be right on like on the average survey because the only people that are inclined to respond, you're only getting responses from the people that are inclined to respond, which means they've either had a perfect experience or a terrible experience, as opposed to the average person who probably doesn't care.
Bingo. There's a bit of a hot take that the opposite, that we're gonna George Costanza this, but
All right, you ran that poll. You're like, if Spotify increased its subscription price by $1, which I think was like it's $10 to $11, let's say.
which they did the year before.
Yeah, and everyone's like, a bunch of people said they'd churn. They'd
like 30% or something like that. Yeah.
But they already did that and churn didn't change.
I know.
So you kind of muffed the survey, which ended up being like I think I'm using the term right, like a Freudian slip, where it ended up being like ironic because it would have been the exact opposite answer would have been correct.
Yeah. No, I have no idea if you're using that term Freudian slip correct, but go ahead. Use it. I have no idea. I don't know what that means. People use it all the time, and I'm like, all right, sounds smart.
I'm just gonna start using it and hoping it's right. But yeah,
yes,
I'm a survey hater, no doubt.
Team anecdotal evidence. That's honestly, if you know, like, data is so hard to understand. Like, okay, there could be some weird trends going on. It could be bad data. People could be, and it's crazy. It's crazy that people make huge capital allocation decisions based on surveys. And like, I guess what I'm trying to say is, and I'm saying this poorly, if you can invest based off of anecdotal evidence, and you know for a fact that something is actually sustainable and durable and has a moat without needing to see the data, that can be much, much more powerful to me, because it's sometimes the data is just wrong.
I've found that being around college campuses, collecting anecdata from college campuses gives good insights in terms of certain like consumer trends.
I agree.
Zyn, very popular, was if you were around college campuses, you probably were onto that prior to the explosion in Zyn volume. But
Dude,
maybe
half of our portfolio, Match Group, Spotify, because Spotify dominates college campuses. Yeah. What am I forgetting? Well, RIP Swedish Match, but
is that RIP yet? Has the acquisition gone through? Do we know?
Well, it's above the acquisition price because Elliott Management's in there trying to do its thing. Let's root them on, see if I can get some good value for shareholders. But I mean, RIP to us. We don't own it anymore. Okay. Here's another topic. Remember Embracer Group, that they are continuing their acquisition bonanza. They are buying a company called Tripwire. Oh gosh. Okay, but here's the other thing. They're buying the IP rights to the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, which I thought Amazon had, to be honest, but I guess it's kind of divvied up. It's not like a Marvel, stuff like that. So
this is a great chance to shameless plug our interview with the CEO.
Yeah, one of the craziest we've ever had. Not craziest, craziest gets we've ever had.
Yeah, we were a bit out of our realm there on that one, but he was nice. He answered all our questions. He kind of roasted me at one point.
I don't remember that. What happened? You see,
no, it's just like, what do you like? I basically said, like, what are you looking for in acquisitions? Like, why? I don't know. I hopefully I framed the question better, but it was something around like, what are you looking for in acquisitions? It's like, and it was like, or no, what indicator, what metrics do you use to determine sort of success on acquisitions and success internally? And he's just like, profits.
Yeah.
Like, all right, it's fair, easy enough.
The cash the companies will generate. But here's what's interesting is that they were video games only, but from this announcement, they said they are floating the idea of a Gandalf movie, Lord of the Rings character, and exploring other opportunities based on iconic characters such as Aragorn, Gollum, Galadriel, all these Lord of the Ring characters.
Hmm.
They're trying to be a not just a video game conglomerate, but a real entertainment giant, and they're moving so quickly. It's hard to follow them, to be honest. Um, I had
I
a
always
ton.
struggle with like the serial acquirers, like trying to keep up
Oh yeah, especially
because it
because
makes
they're
the
in
financials just a pain.
yeah, especially because they're in Sweden. I had a tough time, yeah, valuing them, which is kind of why we passed. But man, they are being ambitious, and it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, they've done probably more acquisitions than any other company I can think of. I'm sure a bunch of the big tech ones just get like swept under the rug and we never even notice, but
Yeah,
they are got serial acquirers, no doubt. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Lord of the Rings. Was Lord of the Rings like did the rights to that game exist within Tripwire? How did that work? Or are they unrelated?
I think it was a different company. They're acquiring 5 companies. Total
Oh,
value of $577 million.
it would suck to be like an analyst trying to model this and then they just lump like 5 acquisitions at once, like totally change up the business. And now you gotta like go in and spend probably weeks trying to figure it out.
Yeah, the video game analyst that I follow basically said Embracer just acquired and listed all these companies, and then said what in the dot 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 dot.
Yeah. The I
Then
guess
then he said we're about to be acquired by Embracer, but
hey, if they're looking for a podcast, here.
one that your CEO has been on.
Yeah. Amen.
Gosh, that is yeah.
Oh, here's the other what's up with everyone buying Ally Financial?
People buying it. Did
I swear everyone's buying it. The Buff Dog,
Buffett's buying it? Oh,
that Punch Card Capital company that like only buys.
they've owned it, right?
I think that's is that a new one?
No, they've owned it.
No,
That's
Smith and Wesson is the new one.
punch card on that. Well, talk about. Sorry, I can make a bad joke there.
But I don't know. People seem to love Ally.
They're reducing share count quite aggressively.
Would you ever switch banks as a
Uh,
consumer
I don't care that much because I just have spending money,
and then investments?
and then I basically there's like I keep like whatever I need to have any sort of comfort that I don't that, and then the rest goes into investments right away. So I don't particularly care at this moment, but Bank of America has pretty shit interest rates. So if I really, I had
Allies
a
are
lot.
solid.
Yeah, exactly. If I really had cash that I needed to save up, I would for sure switch. Like if I was saving for a house, but if I was saving for a house, I'd probably do I bonds. So I don't know. I haven't switched from Bank of America. So maybe if I had a survey, I would be way off. I would say I would switch, but I still haven't switched from Bank of America.
Jamie Dimon is on the Mexico hype train. See that?
That's great to hear. That's
That's
great
the
to hear.
guy. It's definitely someone I want on my side.
Yeah. Although we only own one Mexican company, so not like we're hugely embracing it. But speaking of that, we are exploring doing different themes for our not so deep dives. Mexico could be a good theme. A lot of
Ooh,
interesting stuff down there.
yeah.
Mexico could be a fun theme.
You are an ex-Mexico resident.
I was an expat there for 2 months. I think that's the right term. Um,
What was the term? What did you say?
expat, isn't that what it's called? No, it was a
Expat?
joke.
I don't know what that is.
Uh, an expat is a person who resides outside their native country. Hey, yeah, that was correct. For 2 months, I was down there. It was an expatriate.
Give the anecdotes.
What's
Is it
up?
a burgeoning manufacturing hub, as people
There,
seem to believe?
yeah, there's a lot of manufacturing. Sure. A lot of beer manufacturing, a lot of oil and gas manufacturing. And they love WhatsApp. Love it.
There's your anecdotal evidence. All right, we got like 8-10 minutes left. Matt says Buff Dog. Yep. What's the coolest Warren Buffett nickname? I'm a big fan of Buff Dog.
Yeah, it's a good one. Speaking of
WB.
that, yeah, the Oracle. No, that's not me. Come on, the Oracle. It's quite the name.
Yeah.
Hypes him up quite a bit. The Oracle of Omaha. I saw that. Now this is kind of. I'm gonna put this in here as a real topic, but I saw that Lee Lu bought the same stock as us in Q2. When I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that to not to brag, but when you're looking at like any sort of investments, do you care? Because typically I try to be like, all right, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing, but is there any like certain investors you look out and say like, okay, if they're buying something here and we're buying at the same time or something like that, or they're buying something, I should look at it. Like, does that matter at all to you? Because I felt a little bit of, I'm not gonna lie, comfort that he was buying the same stock as us in Q2.
The correct answer should be no. But I don't know about Lilu in particular because wasn't he big on Alibaba as well? I guess in American companies he's done really well. He's got a good track record, so I can't.
Obviously, phenomenal track record.
Yeah. He's not the only one that owns that company either. I think a lot of big investors own that company. It seems
But
to
it
be
was
probably maybe the most owned
in the hedge fund space.
among the value community. Maybe the hedge fund space, yeah.
Yeah, but the timing of the purchase, I'm saying, if you kind of get what I mean.
Yeah,
right?
that's nice. Yeah, it's nice to know. I mean, there's some that I like. I don't like. It doesn't change it feels good, I guess. Yeah, sure. It's validating, but it doesn't change.
A little bit of vanity there.
Doesn't change any, like my next purchasing decision for that company. There are certainly managers that I follow for like idea inspiration. Can we talk about Burry's portfolio? I mean, the guy's gone.
We got a comment here from Matt saying that everyone loves looking at it. There's a fascination with him, even though he turns over so much.
I mean, I don't have a problem with turnover.
No, it's just
this last one was ridiculous.
No, it's just the 13 Fs are unreliable, is what I mean.
Yeah. So I guess for anyone that doesn't know, Michael Burry sold every stock he owns and bought a private prison business.
Yeah, but I think that was a bit off because was it Scion? His asset base is a lot higher than his ownership in Geo, so I think it might just be he might just have a lot of cash. Yeah, the market value of his Geo investment is only 3.4 billion according to Whale Wisdom. He bought a little bit of million, yeah, not billion, million. He bought some shares last quarter, but that was much higher than, or sorry, the rest of what he sold was much higher than Geo. So I think he has a lot in cash. At least as of June 30th, could have been totally different a few days later.
It's kind of a bummer that I think he might be. I don't know. It's kind of a never meet your heroes situation. I wish he never got a Twitter account. He's a little crazy. Maybe he knows more than everyone, but he just feels a little crazy.
Cassandra? Yeah, he's a strange person.
The doctor.
Yeah, no comment. People should look at
I wonder
his
how Greenspan feels about him now.
after the movie. Yeah, Greenspan's probably can't watch any finance movies, huh? Tough luck. Well, he might be dead. That should actually.
Joel?
Let's look up. No, Alan Greenspan. Oh, you're talking about Joel Greenblatt.
Joel Greenblatt, not Alan Greenspan. Sorry.
Wow, Alan Greenspan is still alive. 96. He's still kicking.
Joel Greenblatt was the big one that backed him, right?
I believe so. That I don't know for certain, but I think that was the person that had the relationship. Don't know if the person from the movie was more of a fictionalized character of his.
Yeah.
If you get
I'm
what I mean.
curious if Greenblatt and Burry still get on, you know?
Yeah, Murray seems to be not get along with a lot of people. If his Twitter account is any indication, he is. Gosh, what is it? Prickly. He's prickly, right? It's probably a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
He's very
Man,
prickly.
Christian Bale made him look pretty good.
That is right. That
The
is totally right.
no, I think didn't Burry get a start on Value Investors Club? Isn't that like he was writing stuff up?
Yahoo message boards. Yeah, Yahoo message boards.
Oh, was it? Well,
I,
I mean, you can't even knock Greenblatt because he ended up probably making a ton of money on his investment.
yeah. All right. Here's the last topic. There was good coverage on this from the Science of Hitting. Shout out to them. Very good. They get us a ton of Alex's research service gets us a ton of Substack subscribers since he recommends us. So thank you to that. But Dan Loeb wants, among other things, Disney to spin off ESPN. Now, I think that would be a dumb move because the bundle of sports is kind of where the value is because you can bundle other things with it with the exclusivity. What are your thoughts on that? Because I kind of think sports on its own is just so tough. Your value, if you get what I mean, the value is just like you're not going to make much profit just because the leagues have the exclusivity that you're paying the rights for. You got to make money in other ways.
Yeah, I think that's totally right. Sports on its own, I think, would suck. It's kind of you sign a risky deal. If you squeak out any profit, the league comes up on renewal and takes it all back essentially on the next contract that you sign with them. You can run that as almost a loss leader or sort of at break even, run it like your typical sports business. But if it's within a bundle where you own the IP
or anything, any other different.
It dramatically enhances the value of the bundle while also not hindering the profitability.
Yeah.
Unless those rights holders, i.e., let's say the NFL, come calling for some of that bundle profit as well, like the stuff beyond what ESPN itself generates in views. But I don't know if they'd have the right to do that. I think this is what Dan Loeb's second attempt at trying to go activist on Disney.
Yeah, need a bigger fund.
Well, I don't know.
Right?
It feels to me unlikely that an activist investor who hasn't been in the company knows how to run Disney better than Disney.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, there should be a rule that activists, like, remember the Exxon Mobil activists that own like 0.04% of the stock? The activists, you need a big stake.
Yeah. I think I like Alex's response. Basically, this is why a lot of management teams ignore activist investors is because they're renters.
Yeah.
And Dan Loeb sold his shares on several occasions. I think we're running up on time though, so got to close it out.
All right.
Any other closing thoughts? Did we miss anything?
Nope. It was kind of a chaotic one. I don't know if we had any good topics, but who knows? That's what the no rules. That's how it comes in sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is going to do it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks, Matt, for being our warrior in the comments here. If you guys want to listen, if you're listening on the podcast and you want to get questions in live, remember, just look up Chit Chat Money on YouTube on Thursdays at 3 o'clock Eastern time. It should be up and running, and you can post questions in the chat. We love getting questions. That's going to do it, though. I want to remind our listeners we're not financial advisors. Anything we say or discuss is not formal advice or recommendation. We are general partners at Arch Capital, though, so clients may have positions and securities discussed in this podcast. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in. We'll see you next time.